You were the trap God set for them. Crazy, isn't it? Because you weren't thinking about setting traps for people. That's not what you do. You were just being a good person. But you see, they were setting traps for you all along. You see, what they lack in heart, they make up for in wicked cleverness. A lot of the realms that they would dismiss as pompous and ridiculous, if you brought them up, spiritual realms, they spent a lot of time studying those very realms when it comes to having an advantage in knowledge so that they could warp your mind and get you to see them as your savior while secretly oppressing you and persecuting you from behind the scenes. And their whole methodology, however sophisticated, their networks, however sophisticated their magic, was designed to have you see yourself as a victim, dependent upon them and the breadcrumb morsels of love, affection, goodwill, or money that they saw fit to provide. But what they never counted on was the fact that you wouldn't choose to see yourself as a victim, that you had choice. That instead of seeing yourself as a victim, you saw yourself as a creator. So while they were busy weaving a web, thinking that you would have to make choices within the narrow confines of the available options they presented to you, you were busy looking at yourself, thinking, what is it that I want to do? What is it that would really light me up? And the more you got to know yourself, the more time you spent looking at the shadows, working through them, reclaiming their gifts, the more you started to cultivate a vision of what life could and should be. And the closer you became to your Creator, God, who, unbeknownst to you, was setting them up for the big fall. And then the moment came where they presented you with your paper or plastic options within that unsatisfying reality. In what seemed to them to be some feat of magic that blew their minds, you chose the option that wasn't even in the frame they set for you. You chose to live as yourself and let go of their madness altogether. And in that choice, you escaped the matrix. You transcended their dualities and you set yourself free. And they sat there scratching their heads because they thought they'd thought it all through. And perhaps they did think it through, but what they never did was open their heart to feel. The heart knows reasons that reason cannot know. It's not about intellect. It's not about the capacity to process complex information and be more clever than the other person. It's about feeling. It's about love and intuition and moving according to the natural flow of nature. Nature which speaks through us with grace and ease and yet wields the power of a hurricane or a tsunami when necessary to liberate us from the old overgrown dross of bygone days when madmen with furrowed brows ruled the world. You were the trap that God set for them, but actually they set the trap for themselves by mistaking your kindness for weakness, by failing to believe in the laws of karma, recognizing that all we give comes back in kind. They built a very sophisticated trap and a noose and a prison for themselves. And when their chicanery with the legal system failed to entrap you sufficiently, and the season finally came around, and that season is now, they had to turn and with horror realize that the noose they built in the cell they crafted for you was customized for their own weary souls. It's been a somewhat wearying season, my friends. In the collective, I'm sure you'll agree. As this epic karmic cycle comes full circle, we're now saying goodbye to many things, many people we are excited not to see again, and also saying goodbye in somewhat sad terms to parts of ourselves that we're called to leave behind. But I hope as this new day dawns and we take these final steps to let God finish the handiwork, to close the door on the trap he built for them through us, we can take a pause to look forward and see how worth it all was. We are living into a world unlike any we've known, and yet exactly like the one we imagined for ourselves when we were children. So let's celebrate with love our eternal youthful spirit within each other, as we stand hand in hand, arm to arm, looking forward to a world where the matrix that once kept us dispirited, which once kept us having to look behind our backs, always afraid of being tricked once we realized how wicked the others were. A world where that can no longer flourish, and where dreams can manifest quickly without the dispiriting stranglehold of immoral dimwits who once thought they had us by the balls. No more. We won, my friends, and we receive that victory in full when we claim it fully, here and now, for ourselves. So claim it with me in celebration. You are the victory of joyful dominion. And the world out before us, this new world, is ours alone.